Hello and welcome to this video. This isn't a tutorial video or anything, it's more of a little bit of a, well, you could say an advertising video, but just to explain a couple of things. There's an Xcode project here for Traffic Light Mania, and my program is purely hobby. The job I have as a day job is completely different and well away from computer programming. But I released a while ago, just after Christmas, a game called Traffic Light Mania, which I'll show in a minute, for iOS and the iPad, and it's been downloaded since quite well, around 6,500 or so in the first couple of months, which was a nice surprise. And the reason for this probably was that Apple, when you release a new application, tend to feature it in their featured section, certainly for the first day or two, and Traffic Light Mania sort of hung on in there for about 4 days. But that was good enough to get the download starting. However, I've recently, just about 4 days ago, released the app for Android, and I found that almost the opposite's true. There doesn't seem to be any sort of structured way of things appearing in a featured section in the Play Store, so I thought, well, I might as well do a little video on it. And also I'm going to show a couple of things with the app because they'll form the basis of some Cocos2dx tutorials, which I'm going to do. So I wrote the original Traffic Light Mania in Cocos2d, and then the Android version in Cocos2dx. Now, the good thing about I'm just finding the project here, about Cocos2dx is that you basically, when you generate your project, what you end up with is you end up with a structure like this where you have your classes. I've got generated resources folder here, which is just a folder simply where I have all the resources I've made for the application, but it generates for you the Android project, BlackBerry, iOS, Linux, Mac, Marmalade, blah blah blah. And the important thing here for me when I was developing for Android actually was the fact that we have the Mac project here like this. And the reason is when you fire up the Mac project in Xcode, it allows you find under the Mac folder here an app controller.mm, and what this is really useful for is actually specifying your ratio or aspect ratio on the screen in pixels, like you do here. So you've got the position to start up on the screen, and here's the width and the height. And I found this really useful when developing for Android, because obviously the running of a normal Mac window, or I guess it would be similar for doing it with the Windows project that you're provided with as a Win32 project, is that you don't have to start an emulator or anything, so you can test all the aspect ratios really quickly rather than waiting for emulators to load. And in fact, I'd made myself a little spreadsheet here with the main aspect ratios, and had made sure that I tested every single one of them, that they looked okay on the app before I actually went about putting finishing touches to it. So enough babbling. This is what the project looks like inside Xcode, and I'm just going to run the app now and quickly show you what it is, and it'll also form, like I said, the basis then for some tutorials. So it says build succeeded. Hopefully it runs. It does. And all it is really is it's an app where there are 8 levels. It's quite a simple little thing. Like I said, I'm just a hobby programmer. The app is free, so there's just these 8 levels to play. And when you play the game, I don't know how loud that sheep noise was, whether I've got to balance it all or not, but when you play the game anyway, basically it's just letting a load of cars drive around the screen, and you try to let these cars then go off the screen to score points, and the longer they wait at lights, the more points they have deducted, and if the sheep stop making noises I can talk a bit more, but they die if they wait for too long. And you shouldn't make them crash on crossings. So that's all there really is to the game. Not much else. The interesting thing from an Android point of view is these buttons here, which I won't touch now, else they'll probably cause a crash, because the Mac version obviously doesn't contain the Android stuff. But this will fire up the leaderboards on Google Play. So the app is actually linked with the Google Play game services, and this here fires up the achievements. There are 17 achievements. And this up on the top right here actually allows for signing in and out of the Play Store, the Google Game Services. All stuff is quite tricky, I think, to implement. I certainly see a lot of questions on forums about how you do this with Cocos2dx, sort of interacting between the Java layer and the game layer. And also down the bottom of the screen, you don't see it on this, but in the Android version there's an advertising banner, and when you play the game or go to the help screen as in here, that advertising banner then disappears. The other thing the app has is it's also in 7 different languages, and on startup loads the appropriate language, and I have a macro written in here which then basically pulls the text appropriately for the correct language. So these are things that are all going to form the basis of tutorials I thought I'd do on Cocos2dx, is about how you go about doing all this stuff, because at the start, to be honest, I found the interaction with Java, so using JNI, quite tricky, and I thought it would be a good idea to help other people out and do some tutorials here. But in the meantime, if you like the videos and things, it would be great if you could help me out and just download the game and give it a review. It doesn't have to be a 5-star review. If you hate the game, then you can always say in a review quite easily you don't like the game. But the important thing for me is I'm struggling to find a way to get this started, certainly to let people know about the game, so I'd appreciate a little bit of help and a download and a review. And like I said, the return on this will be I'll start doing a set of tutorials to show exactly how you go about implementing these things in Cocos2dx and Java. So sorry about the little advertising video. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and till the next one, thanks a lot.